Welcome everybody to RGTV. I'm Kelvin and today I will be reviewing X2 X-Men United. If you do not know, I am reviewing all the X-Men films from the first X-Men to X-Men First Class. I already reviewed X-Men First Class and Days of Future Past, so really I just have to review this one, X-Men The Last Stand, X-Men Origins Wolverine, and that's it. Those are the next films I have to make a review on for the X-Men franchise. I don't know if I'm gonna do the X-Men 3 and Origins Wolverine as my next movie reviews because I'm seeing Transformers Age of Extinction tomorrow in IMAX 3D, but I will finish my reviews for the X-Men franchise. Now, let's get started with X2 X-Men United. X2 X-Men United, in my honest opinion, I can say that it is the best X-Men film in the trilogy. And it is a major improvement from X-Men. And I'm going to say this right now. If we did not get X-Men, we would not have gotten X2 X-Men United. And I am proud to say that that has happened. Now, Bryan Singer improved many things in X2 X-Men United. But there are still flaws in this movie that I have personal problems with. Not just for me, but as a critic and all that stuff, this movie does have problems. But it is the best X-Men film in the trilogy. I know some of you may not agree with me on that matter, but in my opinion, it's true. But I'm not saying that I am right or claiming to be right. X2 X-Men United has great pacing in the film. It doesn't feel slow-paced. It doesn't feel fast-paced. It's right in the middle, and it's good. That's something I really enjoy about X2. And really, I can watch X2 from the first second of the movie to the last second of the movie, which is a major plus. When a movie can get you drawn from every second for the entire film, that's a good thing. Because not once is my mind like, oh, come on, can they just skip this scene? Come on, I want to get to the action. It never feels like that for me. That's a good thing for a film. Wolverine's origin in this movie is handled very well because, as you guys know, in the beginning of the movie, he is at Alkali Lake. And that's where his adamantium was, put into him. But of course, he does not remember how the adamantium was put into him. And he goes to Alkali Lake, but he doesn't find anything. But the thing is, everything is there just underneath him, which is pretty amazing because as later in the movie, they go into basically inside the base of Alkali Lake, and you get to find out what happens to Wolverine and how the adamantium was put into him, which I think was handled very well, and it was truly just really good for the film. Till this day, X2 X-Men United has one of the best opening sequences I've seen, not just in a comic book film, but in an action and adventure film. And that is the scene with Nightcrawler attacking the White House. And I own this movie on Blu-ray, and I have a smart TV that's 120 Hz, and the special effects for Nightcrawler, for his teleportation ability, it still looks good. I am still impressed by it. Because you guys gotta understand that this film was released in 2003 in theaters. And that scene was just one of the best sequences I've seen in a superhero film or comic book film. And it's a shame that Nightcrawler wasn't in X-Men The Last Stand. But Nightcrawler was just so awesome when he attacked the White House. It really showed what you could do in a comic book film. Just that one scene with Nightcrawler just proved what you can do with special effects and CGI and how well you can handle a character and how awesome their abilities can be. So that's a plus right there. Amazing sequence. If you have not seen this film, you guys gotta see it, man. You just have to. Now, obviously, the cast is fantastic for the X-Men franchise, and their performances are very well. But one of the things I like about the characters or the cast in this movie is that the characters are given their own personal or defining moments where they show us what a real person might do if they had their abilities. For example, Wolverine and Iceman, where Wolverine wakes up in the middle of the night and he comes to the kitchen and Iceman's there eating ice cream, and Wolverine's asking if there's beer, and Iceman says, this is a school, but he tells him that there's a soda. And Wolverine gets the soda, but before he drinks it, he gives it to Iceman, and Iceman uses his powers, and now the soda is cold. He just blows it like that, and instantly it's cold now. That's something I would do if I had ice powers, or you might possibly do, which is something I really appreciate because it's like, wow, that's something I would really do if I had those powers. So that's just something I really enjoyed. And I don't know the kid's name, but like when he was watching the TV in the living room, he blinks his eyes and he changes the channel. Like that's something I would do. So that's something I really liked about X2 X-Men United is they do things that real people might actually do in real life if we were ever to be mutants and things like that. So that's something I really appreciate from Bryan Singer for him putting stuff like that in the film because it's really good for the film. William Stryker and Magneto. I've just noticed this now, but they really are one in the same. Because William Stryker is someone who hates the mutants and wants to get rid of them. But Magneto is someone that hates humans and wants to get rid of them. But you can say that William Stryker is the human version of Magneto because of his personal experiences with mutants that as to why he does not like them. So that's something I really like because we all know Magneto is a bad guy, but we understand where Magneto comes from for his personal beliefs and why he wants the mutant race to, keep going and why he wants to get rid of the humans. But then, in a way, you can understand where William Stryker's coming from his personal experience with mutants and why he wants to get rid of them. So really, it's kind of like a yin and yang, like I said in my X-Men review, where Charles and Magneto, where you can't really get mad at either of them because for their personal beliefs, like you can honestly understand where they're both coming from. So that's something I appreciate in this film. The action in X2, I gotta say, is honestly impressive for its time, and I still think it holds well, but not great. For example, I love how when Wolverine uses his claws, or Cyclops with his beam, or Magneto how he uses the magnetic fields around him. It's really good. Like he takes like these magnetic things, and he makes like a plate, I guess you could say, where he stands on top of, and obviously he holds his weight up. But it's just something like it's just so good. Like it's just awesome to see things like that happen in a comic book film, of course. And when William Stryker's, when his his team invade the X Mansion where Wolverine wants to know what he really is, and Stryker's talking to him, and Iceman, he touches the wall and he makes like this ice wall to separate Wolverine and William Stryker and all the other people that are invading the house. So that's something I really like, and I really do appreciate how the characters are handled and how they use their powers in the film. And of course, the characters are written very well and have good character development, which is always a good thing to have in a film, regardless of what genre it is. You always need a good character development, and they need to be written very well for the characters to succeed, but also for the movie to succeed. Now, we all know that every movie has its flaws, so I'm just going to state the flaws in this movie, or what I believe are the flaws in this movie. Now, if you guys know, I said that I loved Rogue in the first X-Men film because she was just written so well and her character development is just so damn good. But in this film, she's not given much to do with. It's just like, it's actually disappointing to me because I actually like Rogue's character in the X-Men franchise. Nightcrawler. As much as I loved Nightcrawler in this film, he was not given much to do with. I mean, how do you go from one of the best opening sequences in a comic book film and action film for a character, and for later in the film the character to not do something? Like, that's just crazy. Like, I feel in a way Nightcrawler was wasted, but I'm glad he was in the film though. So it is a flaw, but I don't think it's too major since he's not the main character anyways. But I just feel that Nightcrawler should have been given more to do with. Love triangle between Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Wolverine. I still do not understand why Wolverine likes Jean Grey. For the fact that it's how it is in the comics, I believe. Well, that's not a good enough reason for me. Like, I need to know why he likes Jean, but it is what it is. I don't think it's too major because the movie's positives outweigh the negatives just by a little bit, in my opinion. Jean's death. I don't understand why Jean had to go outside the X-Jet, I think that's what it's called, to save the other mutants that were on the X-Jet. Like, why did she have to come out? Like, she could have just still stopped the water and lift the X-Jet while she was in the X-Jet. I just don't get it personally. And I forgot who it was that asked or says, why did she do that? And Professor X says, because she made a choice. What? Like, okay, I understand people make choices, but why would you make a choice like that if it's not logical or if it doesn't make any sense? The only reason why I can see she did that was because she wanted to die. That's the only thing I can see. I would only do what she did if I wanted to die personally. But I wouldn't want to die if I was a freaking mutant. I mean, I have powers, for crying out loud. That's like saying, okay, why did Max commit suicide? Because he made a choice. Like, no, like, there's reasons as to why he did it, and we're never explained why she did that. So that's just something that really bothers me, because I do like Jean Grey's character in the X-Men franchise. And last but not least, Lady Deathstrike. I understand that Lady Deathstrike is the right-hand woman to William Stryker, but she kind of felt like an extra in the movie, just like Storm felt in X-Men and Toad and Sabretooth. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed her scene with Wolverine at Alkali Lake, but she just felt like another wasted character. So that is the flaws for this film. I don't know what else I can possibly say for X2 X-Men United. If you not have seen this movie, I do recommend you should watch it. I feel it's a great film, even though the X-Men films do not matter anymore except for First Class after the events of what happened in X-Men Days of Future Past. X-Men, X2, X-Men United, they are still enjoyable films to watch and good movies. So I do recommend it. Just watch it. You know, they're great films. They have good story, good character development. Characters are written well. Action is great. And it's just a fun movies to watch overall. So thank you very much for watching my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like the video if you like it. Comment down below. Let me know what your favorite X-Men film is. And that is all for today. Thank you very much for watching, and you guys have a nice day.